Okie dokie, here we go. Let's get this party started, everybody. One lousy petunia, probably DDoS. Yep, that's what happened. That's what happened. We got hacked. We got hacked by the Koreans, the South Koreans. For some reason, it's the South Koreans that don't like Basil's bunker. North Korea, they're okay. Actually, that could probably... YouTube probably doesn't like me saying that. So, whatever YouTube thinks. That's what we're going with. A little bit late today, folks. A little bit on the late side. It's okay. We're going to get the show started in just a second. Boy, oh boy. Let's see here. Oh, I should send out the text message. Here we go. Sending out the social media post. Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, wherever you are. Help reshare this post. It's out there. It's out there in the world. Let's go to the text message. There's this thing when I send out the text message now, I always have to copy it before I send it. Because it's about 20% of the time I try to send it, doesn't go. I got to redo it. And it's a big pain in the butt. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get on the text message alert system, baby. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226. You must send the word canary. It'll get you on the list. Somebody, let's see here. Oh, somebody just now sent a text message that says, "Happy Friday, Basil. Hope all is well and you have a lovely weekend. Thank you very much." And they sent this nice little image. Texted it to us. Says, "Remember when you wanted what you currently have." That is a great point. I am things have been downer lately, and even when I'm in the down mode, I just think of 16-year-old Basil. If he knew what was going on, that he'd think it'd be okay. All right, text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Join the text message alert system. You'll get a text message before every show. You can text me back. I read it. Sometimes I read it on the air. It's great. Do it. We're going to start off with some fake ads. Everybody enjoy some fake ads.
In a world where survival is paramount and the wasteland throws its worst at you, only the strong can thrive. Introducing Emu Energy Drinks. With an apocalyptic powerhouse packed into every can, keeping you sharp, focused, and ready to tackle the wasteland with ease. An epic pick-me-up of haphazard chemicals, strong aftertaste, strange side effects, and unmatched rejuvenation. Emu Energy Drinks. Stay alert, stay alive.
It's the bunker.
Basil's Bunker End Time Supply Subscription Service. Plans starting at just $17.76 a month. No hidden fees. Cancel anytime. 33-day money-back guarantee. Call now for a chance to win an attachable six-finger. Perfect for plausible deniability and AI generations and for your secret Nephilim handshakes. Call now. 1-877-740-3226. Basil's Bunker is solely operated by the Razzle Dazzle Ranch. CCR, CCNT, and the Humorous estate are not responsible for any claims or guarantees. Call now.
Welcome to Basil's Bunker, where we have many amenities in the advent of coming societal collapse. Bohemian Grove generators powered by Chinese lithium cobalt batteries. Anti-air defense systems rivaling the IDF Iron Dome. Endless end times food ration buckets. And recreational activities like emu wrangling or Monty pet training.
Bunk it up, bunkaroos. Welcome to Basil's Bunker, and it's me, your best buddy, Basil. And I'm trying to get this off the screen. There we go. Here I am. What's going on? Oh, we're feeding the ducks today, folks. Took a lot longer today to get the show started. I was sat down at the desk at about 10:30 a.m. thinking, holy smokes, I'm getting quite the jump on the day. This is going to be great. I'm going to crank out the show. Everybody is going to be like, wow, that's the best show I've ever seen or heard. and be done by noon. And here we are at exactly 3:33 p.m. getting the show started. I promise you, I did not do that on purpose. I'm just as astounded as you are looking at the clock right now. But of course, it's how it works. We got people in the chat. Who do we got today? We got Simple Cody, Sue RN, Nick Wisp. Who else? Now to the Hungry Panda. Very passionately saying, I hate Microsoft Word. Yeah, buddy. Wherever you need to get that aggression out, go ahead, get it out. If you need to, use this forum to get your hate for Microsoft products off your shoulders, go ahead. Go ahead, do it. In fact, I recommend everybody do that. We all need a place. This show, I often get my frustrations out with Microsoft products here on the show, and everybody's invited to do it. Feeding the Ducks. That's the name of that track that everybody loves. Your favorite royalty-free music that comes with the streaming software. We got Denise. Hi, everybody. Bmore Busker. That's a new name. Says Razzle Dazzle. What's up, Bmore Busker? I like it. Over on Rumble, just so y'all know, we got Designer Soul. We got AKG1. By request, only one said, I got the text. You got the text. Get the text, folks. Get the text. It's come to my attention that these Basil's Bunkers are not making it on the podcast. Stream all the time. So we'll have to bring that up with our other best buddy, Gons. That's part of his job description. I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for why that's the case. So if you're a podcast listener and you haven't been getting them, I apologize. Let's see. Such a strange noise. Sorry. I've only been doing this for 12 years. You'd think I'd be able to keep some very strange noises off the show. Here, now that we're on the show, I want to once again plug the text message alert program. We are constantly having to look for ways to survive in this weird little community that we have amongst the ocean of gigantic alt media, corporate funded media that is really soaking up everything there is to soak up, the attention, the everything. Boy, did I have a very powerful experience with just the distracting nature. We talk about the alt media and the mainstream media, and we talk about the difference between those and the independent media. Alt media, I would include corporately funded, alternative media like Tucker Carlson, those types, Russell Brand, those types. I could name some more, but I'm not trying to make enemies here. But the eternal dance that mainstream and alt media are kind of stuck in, and the distraction, the distractive nature that alt media really is kind of happy to jump on any story that is meant to enrage people, while there's a very subtle difference with the independent media, meaning we don't have the corporate sponsors. And so it's our job to try to not get so distracted with the news that is specifically meant to enrage and trigger the online audiences. I'll probably go into that a little bit later. Maybe not. Who knows? Oh, I will say I'm wearing this wrist brace, a very cool wrist brace, indicative of very cool people who played too many video games maybe or something. It's currently cutting off the circulation to my hand, so I'm going to take it off. It's very painful. I sprained my wrist roller skating. That should come as no surprise to anybody. I took a big fall at the roller skating rink. There's this gigantic buff black man who saved my life. However, my wrist did get sprained in the process. So thank you to that guy. God bless him. what was I talking about? Oh, the text message alert system. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's where I just got off track. Okay. So it's very difficult for us in a traditional sort of alt sense to gain and keep an audience if they are not directly engaged with us. The algorithms do not appreciate us or our work or what we mean to the broader narrative. And so we get almost no help from the algorithms. Sometimes we'll just disappear from people's feed and they'll never see us again. They could have been the biggest fan in the world, but when they're kind of hooked into what the feed is giving them, what the algorithms are giving them, and not being sort of intentional in reaching out and looking for the things that feed their souls, it's very easy to get off the algo train. So the text message alert system is a great way to mediate that, meaning you're not waiting for notifications from a platform. You're not waiting for notifications from an app. It's a direct line to what we got going on here, and a lot of people are loving it. It is much more of a personal connection. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. You'll get on the list, and you'll just get a message from us before every show that goes live. It's very simple. We don't take any information. We don't have your name. We don't have really any information whatsoever. So don't worry. We're not renting it like Shapiro does and Trump does. You're getting on these text message alerts, these text message lists from fundraisers. They're buying and selling and renting their list. Is all very sad, but we don't have anybody renting our list because our list is so very specific. It's just people who want to catch this show. And you can text us back on that list. It's very fun. I can't carry on a conversation. It's very expensive, as I've said before. Somebody sent a message just now, says, your bunker is that pick-me-up I need today. Boy, oh boy, thank you. Your bunker is the pick-me-up I need today. I appreciate hearing that because I need a pick-me-up today. Some people, it's very interesting. Some people let me know just how sort of tuned in they are to my voice, to my attitude, to my energy. And they can know immediately what's going on. And that's, on one hand, very endearing. On the other hand, it's funny because the what's the word? The temptation is to be like, okay, here's the show, doing the show. Let's go, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Get the energy up. Here I am. But recently this year, as everybody who is aware knows, we're getting real, folks. This is real. It's a hard day, hard Friday. I'm glad that this show is a pick-me-up for somebody, and I hope that it is a pick-me-up for me. Somebody else texted, hey, dude, thanks for all you do. Thank you very much. Somebody else says, love feeding the ducks. Yes, the best royalty-free music on the internet. And once again, the mystery man or woman who receives our text messages, driving, can't text, sent from my Rogue. Somebody out there driving a Nissan Rogue, getting the text messages. Their car is texting me back. Dare I text them back and tell them to pull over and catch the show? I don't know. I want to text this person's car. I wonder if I text their car, if it will read it out to them while they're driving. It's a mystery. Maybe I'll run a poll someday. Thank you, Salt Paul says, it's a good little fellowship chit-chat news show. That's right, just a little fellowship chit-chat news show, folks. Some people wonder what they're getting themselves into. Night of the Hungry Panda says, you're supposed to wear the pads before you go skating, not after. Is a good point. I should be wearing my pads while I skate. All right, that's enough. That's enough chit-chat. Psalm 40 asks, are we calling in today? Yes, we are. We are doing call-ins today. Let me go ahead and get that invite link for anybody. I'm going to pop it into the chat of the various places. This invite link will put you in the back room, and you'll hang out there. You'll just watch the show there until I'm ready to pick up some callers. It's a bit of a loosey goosey show today, folks. I do have something interesting to bring to you, but we're gonna be playing it by ear with however the Lord wants to do today's show. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm dropping the call-in link into the chat. People can hang out there, and we'll see if it's time. If it's time to do it, we'll do it. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Can't pull it up. Come on, pull up. There we go. I want to give a big old shout out to Susan, first of all. Susan, listener Susan. I don't know if that Susan's here now. Maybe they are. I'm not sure. Susan says, sent an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Says, hello, Basil. I just finished listening / watching your show today. This was last week. I just happened to have an office day making pre-anesthesia phone calls to patients. Pre-anesthesia phone calls. That's an interesting thing. I've been under pretty heavy anesthesia before. I do not remember getting a phone call before anesthesia. Thanks for the text alerts on my phone. You're welcome. My question is, if you don't have a fireplace or generator, what do you do for heat in the winter if the power goes out? I have a Coleman camp stove and propane flashlights, oil lamps. I'm a single lady, early 60s. Any helpful tips appreciated. Thank you for sharing with all of us. God bless Susan. God bless you. Thank you very much. This is a good question. Now, this obviously depends on where you live in the world, but I'm assuming because of your question that you live in a place where you'll need some heat in the wintertime. It gets cold enough for you to need something. You mentioned that you've got Coleman camp stove, propane, flashlights, oil lamps. Right off the bat, I'll just say you don't want to rely on a camp stove or some sort of open flame gas thing for heat. This is a mistake that a lot of the unhoused people mistake or make, is because, if you're cranking out a propane open flame device, you're going to have some pretty nasty exhaust or chemicals. And, you can, depending on your space and your, what's the word, airflow or something, you could cause some damage with some buildup of carbon monoxide, things like that. There are propane heaters. These are actually pretty good. Oh, I should have brought mine to show you. I have one. It's called like Mr. Heater or something. And it is propane powered. You put your little propane tank on it, but it's not an open flame necessarily. It's like a heated grid. So it really cuts down on the carbon monoxide. Not no carbon monoxide. I will tell you this. I have set off carbon monoxide alarms with my Mr. Heater, but it is a better option. Maybe I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up to be helpful. But I would always recommend some sort of wood stove. Now, this is difficult because, of course, if you have a wood stove, you're going to need some sort of chimney type of device. There's lots of pretty easy peasy small solutions that you can do. Let me share this tab. I just pulled this up on Amazon. I don't necessarily recommend Amazon, but if you go on Amazon, look, you can get these portable camping wood stoves, and this one specifically comes with a number of little chimney pieces with a bent elbow one there. This one is specifically for camping, but could work in an emergency situation. Good news, it's only $99. They go, they vary. Here's another version. It's $169. This one's a little bit more permanent, $139, pretty expensive. This one I thought was okay. Now it is outdoor wood burning stove, portable with chimney pipe for cooking, $139.99. Again, your biggest concern inside is gonna be smoke, exhaust, carbon monoxide, stuff like that. So you really want to pay attention to whatever you're using for heat. Let me see if I can find. Let me take this down. I'll try to find this little. I think it's called Mr. Heat. Mr. Heat propane heater. Another issue with propane heater is, with propane heaters is, yep, there it is, Mr. Heater. There's several different kinds. Let me do this one here. Problem with anything propane is you're going to need propane canisters. And, you can have as many propane canisters as you want, but eventually you're going to run out. Here's Mr. Heater, Tough Buddy, 9,000 BTU indoor, outdoor, portable, radiant propane heater. Radiant is the word there. Radiant propane heater. Those are some suggestions from your best buddy, Basil, here. I'm trying to think. If anybody in the chat has any other suggestions for Susan, let me know. Amazon also have diesel heaters. That's interesting. Let's check diesel heaters on Amazon. I've never even heard of that. It sounds pretty intense. But just because I don't know about something doesn't mean that it's not great. Diesel heater. Look at that. Okay, let me share this tab with you. Here you go, Susan. Look at that. Vmore 8 kilowatt diesel heater, parking heater with automatic altitude adjustment. $119. $95 for this 12-volt diesel air heater. That looks like something. Yeah. I should probably give one of these a try. This looks like it could be... Oh, my browser has lost connection to my screen share audio. Well, luckily I'm not trying to screen share any audio. Anyways, there you go, Susan. Thanks for the email. Hope that helps. And if anybody has any other options, let me know. Oh, Night of the Hungry Panda says if you mine Bitcoin, you can heat your house. That's a great point. Get some ant miners, get some Bitcoin miners go running in your house. That'll heat your house. And you can make some Bitcoin. My friend uses the Mr. Buddy, and they have carbon monoxide detectors, no trouble. By request, only one. Yeah, that's one of my suggestions. While camping or RVing or something like that, I've used that Mr. Heater, and it's worked well. Actually, Burning Man, many years ago, on one of the very first Burning Man research trips, is when I started using Mr. Heater. By request only one says the diesel heaters have an exhaust and push indirectly heated air into your living space. There you go, Susan. I hope that helps. There's a lot of stuff there for you. All right, we got some callers hanging out. Oh, they're chatting in their little private chat. Okay, let's talk to some callers just so everybody knows later on in the show here. I do have a pretty interesting article I'm going to be going over. What life would really be like after a societal collapse. I think there's some very interesting subtleties there that is very important for all of us to check out. Jason Casper says, do you live in an Earth ship? I have looked at many Earth ships. They're pretty cool. A little bit above my pay grade right now, but Earth ships. Maybe we'll look into that later on in the show. Thank you, Jason. All right. We got a caller on the line here. We got Psalm 40. Prepare yourself, Psalm 40. Caller, you are on the air. Maybe not. You there, Psalm 40?
Hey, I was muted.
There you go. What's up, buddy?
Just hanging out, man. How you doing?
I appreciate that. I'm just hanging out too. It's one of these days, man. It's one of these days. But as always, getting on the show, hanging out with you guys, it's always a good way to spend some time.
How's the throat, nose, and mouth thing going for you?
Yeah, luckily, I hope y'all can hear it. I'm feeling a little better. Waking up in the morning is still pretty brutal. It's like the inside of my throat and lungs are building up with some mucus that gets all dry. So it's a bit of a project clearing it all out in the morning, but thankfully my voice is stronger.
Are you taking anything? Do you have like a humidifier, anything like this?
Ooh, a humidifier would be good. I'm not doing anything. The
Some
thing
bits?
Yeah, the thing I'm mostly doing is just trying to sleep more. That's kind of the main thing. I've right now at this period in my life, I feel like sleep is the best thing that I could possibly do because it's maybe the one thing that I don't have enough of. So, thank you for the tip. I do have a humidifier. I'm going to try that. I think that'll help a lot. Oh, did we mute you again? Are you there? Psalm
How about
40.
how about now?
There you are, Psalm
Okay.
40.
I can't leave the window. I can't leave the StreamYard window.
Oh, you gotta stay in the window. Okay, we know
Um,
that.
I,
We know
I'm
that
sorry.
now.
I was just saying, my wife has breathing problems. Like,
Mm,
she has anxiety and I don't know. She just has all kinds of breathing problems. But sleep is her go-to for everything. Like,
mm.
if she's has a sore throat even, or that's her go-to medicine. Also, is sleep.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. God built in this pretty incredible healing sort of state we could go into, and the problem is that all the gizmos and gadgets of life today tend to do a really good job of interrupting our sleep or keeping us from keeping us from getting into that state.
The LED lights all over the place, the
Yep,
waves in the air. Yeah, man, everything.
everything. So what's
And
on your mind, man?
I don't know, nothing much. I
Okay.
I guess really, what is life gonna be like after the collapse?
I think this is going to be fun. We'll get into it in a little bit, and it's such a natural thing for I think every prepper-minded person to imagine like the worst possible outcome, to imagine the apocalyptic, sort of the Hollywood version of the collapse. And this particular person broke down, what kind of the usual worst case scenario is, but gives some pretty interesting sort of reality checks. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, reading the reality check, what it did not communicate to me was, oh, I don't need to worry so much. What it did communicate was, oh, there's some like other stuff we need to keep in mind
Hmm.
that, prepping for the worst case scenario is good and we'll be ready in the worst case scenario. But there's like this middle ground that if we're not careful, we could be in this sort of middle ground and actually cause the worst case scenario just because that's what we're sort of expectant of. It's pretty interesting little thought experiment. So I'm excited to go through it. Now, Psalm
That,
40, you've been a prolific producer of Canary Cry for a really long time. We love having you as a member of the team here, creating all sorts of great stuff over the years. Are you? But I don't know if have I ever gotten your prepping status? How would you describe yourself and your
um,
preparations?
well, I was gonna comment about what you said about this article. People tend to prepare for the worst.
Hmm.
My personal opinion has always been step one is to gather numbers. There's a few people that may not exactly be on the same page as me, but with theology or even philosophy, but
Right.
they are on the same page that if the world is at that level, like if it's really that serious,
Hmm.
then we're gonna have to be together.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
that's always been step one. And my like step 1B was really try to seclusion. Like
Yeah.
my personal plan was to head. I live on the East Coast, in New Jersey, so it's not super. populated in my specific area, but we are surrounded by cities.
Mm-hmm.
So getting out of here could be an issue, but
Right.
my hopes were to head for the Appalachian Mountains. Like any part of the mountains that I could get to, that's where I would like to be.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's quite a few people. Like, I have my immediate family, my wife and my son, and my mother and her husband, and my wife's parents, and a select few friends, maybe a dozen people that are all on the same page that we're gonna meet up. That's step one.
Yeah.
And then, as far as what we do after that, um, I don't know, it hasn't really developed from there. But my opinion would be to head for seclusion, specifically the mountains, and to look towards God. Definitely not be afraid,
Yeah.
but to move without fear, to act, but to trust also at the same time.
Yeah. I mean that's a great point. I mean, whether or not you're like directly in line or on the same page with everybody, when the situation happens, the reality is it doesn't matter how prepared or how on board everybody was beforehand. You got to get your community together, and as Christians, this is kind of the fun part because we obviously want to be as prepared as possible, but following the Lord's plan is kind of the most important bit. And thankfully, I mean, the Bible is just chock a block full of stories of families or tribes moving when the Lord wanted them to move. And then it's up to God to take care of them. And, God does it in a lot of different ways. So it's one of these, in life as humans and especially as men in this case, like we feel such a draw to make a plan, stick to the plan, execute the plan, and have our sort of earthly preparations to a place where we can sustain ourselves in order to continue to follow God. But in a lot of cases, if we're really living from a heavenly mindset and from the mindset that God is ultimately sovereign. If God wants us to survive and continue on, the crows are going to bring us bread and the water's going to come up from the rocks, and, you know, he,
Amen.
he's got the plan for everything. So that's one of the things that I think we as Christians should be taking some peace in when we're looking at our stockpile and we're like, oh, it's not big enough, or oh, we don't have the right equipment, or ah, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. If we got God and God wants us to keep going, He's going to find a way to do it, and it's going to be miraculous. Now we're living in the miracle, we're living miraculously because that's what he wants. That's a great place to be, buddy.
For sure. And,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that going back to what you were saying about God's plan, his plan is the destruction of Babylon and the tribulation of the beast.
Yep.
So, he told us beforehand, and we just have to endure. We just have to
Yep.
trust and, hold your treasures in heaven and know that we're just passing through.
That's
And
right.
it only lasts for a moment, and it'll be over. It will end. There is an end to this story, a good one.
Yeah. Amen, buddy. I really appreciate that. That helps me today. It's one of those days, man. But that's a good reminder. That'll that'll help me get through the weekend. I think. Psalm 40. I really appreciate you calling in, buddy. Got any last words?
No, not really.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man. Really, I appreciate you and Gons. You guys have great hearts. Seriously, you are. I just became a Christian like probably 12 years ago by now. 10 to 12 years ago is when I started
Mm,
really taking it serious.
yeah.
And fell into the YouTube hole. I found Gons and you guys and all that. And like you guys have really helped me along. Like you were one of the people that were within my first quote unquote church is
Mm,
what it would be, you know.
yeah.
And just hearing me not going from not being a Christian to being a brand new Christian and hearing how lifelong Christians or, other people with their own testimonies, hearing them explain things from their own point of view, it really, really helped me. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate God for doing the work that He does.
Dude,
Um,
thank you so much.
yeah. All
That
right, man.
really that really means a lot, Psalm 40. I really appreciate that. There are certainly times where, we try not to base our attitudes and our work on, what people say about us or, or what they don't say, whether it's criticism or whether it's praise of some kind. Of course, all praise goes to God. But in times like this, especially this year, hearing from producers like yourself about what exactly our work means has been incredible sustenance to us. So I really
Yeah, man.
appreciate you sharing.
And remember, like, there's more of me. Last year there was another me. Two
Mm,
months ago there was another me. A month ago there was another me. Today there's going to be another me. Like, this is going to keep happening as long as you keep pushing.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, man. That means a lot. I really appreciate it, Psalm 40.
Yep.
All right. Well, make sure to call in again, buddy. I'd love to talk to you again.
All right, man. God bless.
God bless. Hey, isn't that nice? Look at that. Folks, I think today we're gonna take more callers today. Last couple episodes, the callers have been on the lower side. I think partially because of me. I came at the last few episodes with a serious plan, going hard, and I certainly have some plans for today's episode. But I think I'll tell you what, a day like today, it's good for me to hear from you guys, and we're just going to follow what the Lord wants today. So before we move on, let's talk to one more caller. Let's take somebody on here. We got Bmore Busker in the waiting room. Caller, you are on the air.
Razzle dazzle, man. How's it going?
Razzle dazzle, buddy. What's going on?
Dude, I never thought like 13 or 14 years, I never thought I'd ever talk to you. I mean, like I heard your voice like back in the day. I didn't know who you were like you were around YouTube
Yeah.
and you and Gons. And man, this is just insane. It's
Oh,
fucking cool.
you're an OG, man. You're an OG. Glad to hear you.
Yeah, man, it's good to talk to you.
Yeah. So, what were you, a Face Like the Sun fan
Yeah,
back in the day?
I would listen to Gon's Face Like the Sun, and also when you and him did the radio.
Yeah, I
That,
love it. I love it. We've had a few OGs reach out to us. Of course, doing Canary Cry Radio, starting those interviews back up again is like it's a constant thing on our mind, and we know we have to do it. And this summer was a little weird. Of course, Gonz is just wrapping up the Age of Deceit 4 film. We just did the focus group, and we kind of had this weird little schedule this year where Fridays are kind of loosey goosey like this. But I don't know. I think it's obvious that well, first of all, you guys, but also the Lord wants us to get back to some of our core competencies. So hopefully we can get some more Canary Cry Radio interviews going. So what's going on, buddy? You got something on your mind?
well, I'm thinking like the last caller, he said he lives on the outskirts of New York or whatever, or New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, and I'm in Baltimore County, and I'm basically on the outskirts of the bullseye of Baltimore City. So
Bullseye of Baltimore City. Okay.
like like 20, 30 minutes away from like the bullseye
Interesting.
where the shit hits the fan. Excuse the language.
No worries.
Where the poop hits the fan.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Oh,
thinking
you mean
about,
like the disaster radius type of thing.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the outskirts, and that's the there's plenty of bullets firing out here, but not as bad as the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you remind me, because I'm constantly a sort of geographical kindergartner. Where what state is Baltimore in? Where is Baltimore?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like full on sort of New England type of spot there.
Not well. We're a little south of that. We're south of New York and what else? Delaware. We're south of Delaware. Um,
I'm a West Coaster, so all that stuff is just like a little jumble.
yeah, but like
Fun
the
little
East
jumble.
Coast, I'm not too. I'm kind of versed on the West Coast, but like yeah, I can understand like the East Coast is on the other side of the country. Like,
Yeah.
but like yeah, man, fucking excuse my language.
No
I used
worries.
to go busking down in Baltimore City at the Fells Point, Baltimore, right by the
Ooh.
harbor. And it was basically like a chain of bars, and people be like, all buzzed and having a good time. And me and my dad would go out busking, and we did it from like 2004 until 2018. And then a lot of rain happened in 2019. And then all of a sudden, uh, COVID happened.
Mm,
And on top of that, the BLM shit happened, and it went to hell down in Fells Point.
mm.
And it's been getting worse and worse and worse ever since that happened. Ever
Oh,
since the
really?
BLM gave the golden ticket to everybody to have anarchy everywhere, and it's in the cities.
Still,
And
huh? It's still like that.
it's yeah, it's getting worse. And uh, there's a if you look up mother and daughter get mugged in Fells Point at someday or
Oh
whatever
boy.
sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That just happened a couple days ago, and she got really beat the hell out of, and
So crime is just outrageous over there, huh?
it's terrible. I mean, like me and my dad used to go down there to go play music for a long time. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
That's a
even. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay. That's a big deal. It's kind of, I mean, these are important conversations to have right now because Tim Waltz guy, governor of Minnesota, was, he was one of the worst offenders when it came to, you know, telling the police force to stand down during the riots, letting the riots burn down police stations, really,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
snowflake.
yeah, I think it was Minneapolis that had to, you had groups of mainly minorities getting together and putting together like neighborhood patrols and stuff just to try to stop the crime that the cops were just letting it have. I thought it was a bit of an inspiration as far as like citizens coming together to guarantee their security in the face of basically anarchy. I thought it was kind of a positive reaction to it. But yeah, this Tim Waltz guy, I mean, he basically gave, like you said, the golden key to the city for anybody to just burn down whatever they want. Just didn't want to cause trouble.
Yeah, uh, may he pay for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I don't know. I think the Simpsons with their crystal ball called it with Kamala. The camel's gonna win, dude.
I know it's
I just
especially
I have
especially
this bad
recently.
feeling.
Yeah, I've kind of been getting the same feeling too. Like there was a lot of energy and a lot of positivity around Trump maybe being able to take it, but recently, at least in the case of like propaganda and this sort of mass media picking up on the energy, the vibes, as they call it, the Brat
Yeah,
Summer Kamala vibe thing. Man, they're trying really hard to convince us that that's quite the possibility.
yeah, man. Like, I don't know. I, I don't vote. I haven't voted since 9/11. Since I voted for Bush because it was
Right.
right after 9/11,
Yeah.
and he was the dude that was there when it happened. So I figure, well, he's the one. He's gonna save the country, and then of course he killed millions,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. I think
it's
that was I think that was the of course that was like the impetus for a huge I think and very strong and very effective group of people waking up and being like, "Hey, hold on a second. Hold on a second. This something ain't right here."
exactly.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned busking. Now, for those who don't know, busking is when a musician goes down just kind of on the street or in a park and plays some music, brings some life to the community there, and people, of
Yes,
course,
sir.
can bring
Yeah.
some, throw you some cash or something. I spent a good amount of my early 20s busking in various places. I mean, eventually I kind of did it all around the country. This was at the very beginning of Canary Cry. So busking does hold a very special place in my heart. What were you doing? Were you playing guitar or something?
I played the Cajun accordion. I still do.
The
Um,
Cajun accordion.
yeah, I got one right here.
That
Uh,
is the perfect busking instrument.
yeah,
That
man.
is like the platonic ideal of a busker, somebody playing an accordion.
Yeah, dude, this thing is it's pretty loud. Um, yeah,
Oh my gosh. Dude. That is great. Oh, I'm so jealous. Back when I was
but
busking, I purchased an accordion. I don't know the difference necessarily between a Cajun one, but I did purchase an accordion. Never actually learned how to play it. Never subjected anybody to it. But of course, you've got Weird Al. I think it was. I don't know whose quote it was, but I
yeah,
think
what
I
was
heard
it
it from.
like a piano key accordion?
Yes, is that not like the one you got?
Yeah, the one I got only has 10 buttons and it's a 7 note major scale. It's basically like a harmonica.
Like a harmonica, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like on that particular one is in the key of E. On the pull, it's in the key of B.
Dude.
Although no, the Cajuns play on anything like that. They play in C. On the pull is G. That second position. Uh, Next being D, and then A. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. In a crime-ridden city like Baltimore now, I could see it being difficult
Oh
to
yeah,
head
man.
out with an accordion to
Yeah.
try to
Yeah, dude.
entertain the
Yeah.
strangers on the
Yeah,
street.
dude. Somebody will grab it and like throw it across the freaking like that's how bad it's gotten down there. I've got like, dude, there was videos way back when all that stuff was kicking off and everybody was rioting all around the country and all these blue cities are letting everybody do their thing.
Hmm.
And man, I got some videos from way back then of another, I think maybe Chicago, where these cops are walking by and people are videotaping uh fucking freaking police video uh vehicle,
Yeah.
and there's burning underneath of it, and the
Right.
police are just walking right by it.
That is a nightmare. Jeez
And I
Louise.
wanted to put up now. I want to put it up on YouTube now. I didn't want to back then, but maybe I could put it up now
Yeah.
because
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Well, it sounds like you're far enough out where you're not in immediate danger, but it's really sad to see these, I mean, just classic American cities. Talking about the sort of subtlety of the situation. I'm going to be talking about the article that I brought that kind of brings some complexity and subtlety to the possible uh, disaster scenarios. I mean, that really is kind of what we're talking about here, where, Baltimore, I'm assuming, is still technically like an operable city, like an operating American city, one that, has an incredible amount of history as far as
yeah,
American history is concerned. But,
it's
the,
not. It's not like it's not popping off like New York is.
right, right.
But I mean, it is still popping off in its own way. But I don't really study what's going on in Baltimore City. In fact, I should be, but I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't. Maybe I just don't want to know about it. Like that's probably what it is. I just don't want to know what's going on in the city. But
It, it's definitely part of it.
when the poop hits the fan, I'm gonna move out to Western Maryland. My brother lives out there, and that's out in the mountains. So I think
Yeah, you
that's gonna
know,
be my destination.
the Appalachian Mountains, man. I've been seeing like what's going on to see if the Lord wants me to relocate somewhere or something. The Appalachians are very interesting because they were a big problem when it came to the pioneers moving west. Like that's why you have a lot of cities to the east of the Appalachians, and then really dwindles after that. It's tough terrain.
Yeah, he
It's
doesn't live that quite far out, but he lives like, out like, that ways,
Yeah,
towards that
and
Appalachian Trail.
I heard a breakdown and analysis sort of the geography there with the Appalachians, and part of what this person was saying was the Appalachians are a great place to be because in the case of a bomb going off somewhere on the East Coast, the mountains really will do a lot to protect anybody on the other side of the mountains.
Yeah, man, that's well, unfortunately we don't have that here.
Yeah. Well, there we go. You got a bug out plan? You know where you're going if something happens?
Well, like I said, man, I'm definitely gonna go to Western Maryland. My little brother lives out there with his wife and kids, and I think probably out there, but my mom and dad live here, and I don't think they're gonna want to move.
Mm,
My sister lives here. I doubt she might get the hell out of Dodge, but I don't know.
yeah,
I mean,
it's tough, man. That's what's keeping Gons in California there. When you have a network of people you want to stick around, it's hard to
exactly.
just up and move.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think I'd want to live out there with him and his wife and his kids and stuff. I don't know. I've got MS, and
Ooh,
it's
sorry to
like
hear that.
primary progressive, and I'm kind of a pain to deal with.
Mm, I'm sorry to
Uh,
hear that, man. That sucks.
that's all good, man. It's like it's what it is. But I've had plenty of time to see what life is really all about.
Yep. Yeah.
A whole lot of time since
Mm.
like 2009. I guess I started seeing what it was all about. And yeah,
You got some.
2007, I was diagnosed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I want to let you continue on. I was going to say Psalm 40 in the chat saying Bmore Busker, hit me up. So
Cool. Yeah,
make sure to
man.
send Psalm 40 a message there.
Do you have a YouTube? Is he just called Psalm
Oop,
40?
oop, you broke up a little bit for me there. I don't know if you broke up for the audience, but
Does Psalm 40 have a YouTube?
that's a great. Yeah, he's on the YouTube. I think you should just be able to message him there on YouTube. I'm not a big YouTube person, so I don't know exactly how that works, but you can chat with him. Let's see, where are you? You're in the YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube has changed a whole lot too, man. It's kind of off-putting. Like just like Facebook and uh, to hell with Facebook, but you got to keep in touch with people you won't ever keep in touch with.
Yeah. Well, he gave you his X there in the chat, Psalm underscore 40 underscore. So if you're on X, hit him up there.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. X Twitter, right? Yeah.
bro, you know what? Send me a message on Twitter or X if you're on there, because
Absolutely.
it sounds like you've got a story that I want to hear, and you know, I'm always looking for people once I get a system together and I can regularly do the Joyspiracy theory. You know, we should
Yeah,
sit down, have a longer conversation there.
I'd love that, man. That'd be great.
Perfect. Okay.
Well,
Make sure to
cheers,
send me a
Basil.
message on X or something like that. We'll get connected.
All right, how do find you on X? Do I just look up
Yeah, if you should just look up
Basil Rosewater?
yeah, yeah. If you look Basil Rosewater up, or if you find Face Like the Sun, you can find me
Yeah,
through his
okay.
bio, or just search Canary Cry, and I believe our bios are listed there on the Canary Cry
Awesome,
one
man.
too. All
Dude,
right,
I'm
buddy.
all
Well,
about it.
it's great talking to you, man. I can't wait to talk to you again. Feel free to call in anytime.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, man. See you.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. Okie dokie. There we go. Look at that. This is fun hanging out. This is what I needed today. Okay. Well, just so everybody knows, the invite link is still going. So I might pop it in there again just in case anybody wants to jump in. But let's jump on over to this article here. Let me pull it up, go like this. Now, this is very interesting. This is coming from MSN, but it's from somebody who has a brand or a media outlet or something called Social Buzz Hive, which is obviously not something that's, you know, I don't know. This is somebody just doing something, but they're getting their stuff mirrored on MSN, which is pretty impressive. I went and down a little bit of a rabbit hole with this person, and boy, oh boy, they write about a bunch of weird stuff. But we'll get into that later, or maybe some other time. Let me get this the right size. Okay, so this article is headlined, "What life would," and then in parentheticals, "really," end parenthetical, "be like after societal collapse." What life would really be like after societal collapse. And it starts out here. "Ever wonder what would really happen in America if we were to experience a total societal collapse? Television and movies love to often depict a societal collapse in ways that are overly dramatic, terrifying, and also often quite unrealistic. Here are some common elements in these depictions and the reasons why they wouldn't likely align with real world sky is flying real world sky is falling societal collapse scenarios. Or would they? I'll leave that up to you to decide." Very good. Okay, so y'all, they do have a disclaimer, which is fun. Which we should probably always have a disclaimer in talking about this topic because, you know, people are making big decisions. Disclaimer: this post is for informational purposes only and was written by a human with some help of AI. It contains affiliate links to products I use and recommend and will receive a small commission, which helps me continue. If you make a purchase, it will be of no additional cost to you, and I thank you. And that's kind of the it's kind of the deal behind this Social Buzz Hive person, Emily Stanley Allard, is they are just cranking out various really bizarre articles. And I thought it has to be AI, at least part of it. But you know, it's hard to find somebody doing something on the internet, especially in the written form, that isn't to some degree applying AI tools because, you know, the name of the game is numbers. It's big numbers. You put up as many articles as you possibly can, and the AI just sort of helps make that faster. So here we go. 6 scenarios of societal collapse in TV and the movies. 1. Complete breakdown of order. Here's the depiction. After a societal collapse, popular TV shows and movies like The Walking Dead and Mad Max and others often depict total anarchy and devastation, where governmental structures cease to exist. Streets are dominated by gangs, zombies, or rogue militias, while ordinary people are left to fend for themselves. Yes, we all know this depiction. Then there's a section here called Reality Check. Historically, even in crisis, remnants of governance often persists, with local leaders, emergency services, and volunteer networks stepping up to fill voids. People generally seek cooperative arrangements for survival rather than total chaos. And this is a good thing to keep in mind, because just because a sort of breakdown of leadership happens, the resources are still there. There will still be fire trucks and fire stations. There will still be, the infrastructure for something like a grocery store. There will still be the infrastructure for sewer and water, things like this, unless they explode or whether it's a cyber attack or some other sort of terrorist attack or something, infrastructure and resources still exist. And even with the complete lack of, sort of a federal or state oversight, people who know how to use these resources will probably, most likely, be doing their best to keep these resources going in the case that people come around. You've got a neighborhood with a water tower. The guy who runs the water tower is probably going to try to keep that going if the neighborhood comes around and supports the water tower guy. Is that how water towers work? I don't really know, but the point stands. The community around the fire station will probably do what they can to keep the operators of the fire station in sort of working order. When a societal or a government collapse sort of happens, there's still people. And you think, well, the preppers will be ready. The preppers will do what they'll do. But when it comes to large groups of people, there will be a natural tendency to group up, to tribe up, to organize resources in a way to try to at least put the resources to use. The question is, how long does this actually last? How long does this happen? How long does it take for a malignant, group of, raiders to come and try to take it over? That's obviously going to be a problem. And so, the hope is that a neighborhood or whatever would have the impetus and the resources to sort of defend it. So at least immediately, I'd say at least the first year or so after some sort of governmental collapse, you will have large groups of people coming together to try to keep things going as best they can, which is, it might be a bit of an optimistic idea that people, generally will want to keep society working, or at least the parts of society immediately around them, or at least the life-sustaining ones. But I think that'll be the case. And it's interesting in sort of the prepper mindset to kind of think, okay, well, especially if you're in a city still, or if you're in a town, not so much, okay, I will be totally individualistic. I will hide in the bunker and I have my water and I have my food. But to the real sort of, I think, enterprising prepper, it may be pretty high on the priority list to organize your neighbors, organize your neighborhood into some sort of structure that can support the people and the infrastructure to just keep life sustainable for everybody in town. So in your at least in your wildest fantasy about what happens if society collapses, I think it might be a good idea to know who's in charge of this or that, and maybe plan or seek out communication with them, or plan to make moves early to try to help sustain those types of infrastructure, at least in your immediate area. If you're in a big city, that might be kind of difficult. Um, but it really goes back to, the kind of power in numbers. Number two, instant technological regression. Depiction is society reverts to primitive technology quickly, with people abandoning vehicles for horses and resorting to makeshift weapons and resources. Reality check. While disruptions could occur in supply chains, basic infrastructure and technology like power grids and communication systems wouldn't disappear overnight. Solutions would be sought to maintain or restore existing infrastructure using backup systems. It's kind of related to the previous one, but in this case, I think of, I do live in a rural area, and the internet is not provided in the traditional way. Of course, people with their Starlink, they'll have a second chance keeping their Starlink going. But the internet provider in my area is just some guy. It's a guy who owns some towers, and those towers, they have lasers, and he blasts the internet at people's houses. Hopefully not, zapping birds in the process or something. So again, it seems like for me it'd be a good idea to like make friends with that guy and figure out what he may need, or what kind of support he may need to keep the internet on, if in the case that internet even exists at that point. You never know. 3, survival of the fittest mentality. This is interesting. Depiction. Stories often emphasize extreme individualism, portraying shady, tyrannical characters who trust no one and act ruthlessly to secure their own survival. Okay. Reality check. In reality, cooperation and mutual aid organizations tend to become even more critical during disasters. Humanitarian efforts, resource sharing, and communal support often prevail over total selfishness. I think this brings a pretty, again, it's all kind of in the same vein here, but I think it's interesting. Of course, we think ourselves sort of individualist, survivors who have everything we need and will survive over our neighbors. But again, it is almost more beneficial to the individual to at least have an idea. Now, they in this case, they call them mutual aid organizations and stuff like that. And I don't know so much about organizations, but who knows? I think things like charities or churches might be sort of an epicenter for this sort of thing, churches specifically. But again, getting hooked in and participating in what is now hyper-local government. And in a way, there's a lot of people out there, myself included, who have this idea that power should be decentralized and as local as possible. I mean, it sounds insane today with our federal government and all the sort of hyper controlling tyrants who are involved there. But as far as the structure of power, and call power in this case just survival resources, like I said, the sewer grid, the power grid, the water grid, I don't know the better word for these things, but it goes from federally regulated, federally paid for resources to hyper local. Like, if you're in a small town, I think small towns are actually going to do great in these cases, because you have people who are invested in each other, in keeping everybody alive, and in smaller, more rural, or just smaller towns in general, the idea of local governance is sort of already installed to a degree. And who knows? It might not be the worst thing in the world for big federal power to be dispersed into decentralized hyperlocalization. 4 is limited resource locations. The depiction is survivors often fight over several sources of key resources like food, clean water, shelter, or fuel. Reality check. Although competition would indeed arise, resources are more varied geographically and economically than depicted. People would seek alternative means of shelter, cultivate food locally, and attempt to source essentials from less conventional locations. Now, I agree with everything they said. I think with it kind of just depends where you are and the size of your um, area. I mean, I think in New York City, you're going to have a very difficult time. Thankfully, the 90% of our country is more ruralized, and we'll have an easier time with that. 5. Rapid urban decay. The depiction is urban centers in the movies become ghost towns within days or weeks, with nature overtaking infrastructure almost instantly. Reality check. Although some areas may be abandoned, most people tend to congregate in remaining safe zones, and cities remain functional to some degree. Urban decay usually happens over a prolonged period rather than immediately. I don't know about this. I don't know exactly what they're talking about. Are they talking about the weeds taking over the streets really fast? I'm not so sure, but and take it for what you will. 6. Simplistic societal roles. The depiction is the collapse leads to tribalism with clear good versus evil groups. Think Hunger Games, where societal roles become overly simplistic, e.g., warlords, bandits, helpless civilians. Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a video game kind of vibe to that depiction. If you've ever played Fallout, something like that. Reality check. The diversity of responses to crises would be far more nuanced. People would likely form various overlapping groups with mixed interests, often driven by necessity and varying ideologies. Overall, these are common dramatic depictions that oversimplify human behavior and societal dynamics. They prioritize heated conflicts and exaggerate chaos for entertainment, diverging from the complexity and resilience that typically define real world responses to crises. I think this is an interesting thing to think about. And it's again going to vary widely depending on your geographical location. Because in general, I think people are going to want to survive and they're going to want their neighbors to survive. At least, I mean, I might be speaking from a bit of a privileged position because in a rural area, people in more rural areas, you could totally imagine your neighbors, your town, with the exception of some rascals, maybe, coming together to make things at least work for as long as possible. Marita in the chat saying something interesting here. The scariest idea to me is how many, I can't read it. Immigrants have been secretly assimilated into pretty much every area of the USA. I live on the border and have experienced how many of them are actually dangerous. That does kind of go to the heart of this question. And that's a lot of the subtlety that people have sort of pointed out with the mass immigration, specifically mass illegal immigration. There's been stories of towns like in Iowa, and the town has 20,000 people in it, and then suddenly over 5 years or so, 18,000 buddies. What do they call them? What are they calling them? Newcomers. 18,000 newcomers get kind of moved in, doubling the size of the population of a city in 5 years. And then their question does come, who in this case are going to be invested in the community to keep things happen. Certainly some. I think certainly some of them will want to help sustain the city as it is, or at least its life-giving properties. But it does call into question that it's not something that you can take for granted. Let me jump down here. It's tough to put a lot of. Oh, interesting. They have more things here. As discussed, the concept of societal collapse often conjures images of terrifying post-apocalyptic wastelands depicted in popular culture, yet realistic scenarios are generally less sensational, but nonetheless potentially quite devastating. A societal collapse implies a drastic and often irreversible breakdown of institutions, economic systems, and civil infrastructure. While it's not certain, possible triggers or contributing factors could include economic stability, political polarization, environmental crisis, or systemic infrastructure failures. Oh, I see. They're moving into kind of a secret second article here talking about this. Is kind of interesting because the ones they list: economic breakdown, political instability, civil unrest, environmental catastrophes, infrastructure collapse, public health crisis, social fragmentation. These things are not sort of fictional things. These are headlines in the news right now. Economic breakdown, hello. Political instability, civil unrest, yes, every day. Environmental catastrophes. I mean, even if you're just talking about the storms, the hurricanes, the fires in California. Infrastructure collapse. I mean, it's been one of the biggest topics during the Biden administration that our infrastructure in this country is just collapsing, not to mention, cyber attacks on power grids, cyber attacks on sewer grids, cyber attacks on things like traffic lights, whatever. Infrastructure collapse is basically a daily headline. And then public health crisis. Of course, we got Mpox coming back in, rearing its ugly head. But even if it's not Mpox, they're of course always looking for something new. And social fragmentation. Hello, social. What? These are not possible disasters. These are daily headlines. Mitigation and resilience. The potential for societal collapse in America, however realistic, can be mitigated through strong and inclusive governance. Okay, AI, thank you very much for that, artificial intelligence. Strong and inclusive governance. It sounds like it's coming straight from the World Economic Forum. Building resilient infrastructures, investing in sustainable practices, and fostering positive community engagement. Preparedness, diversification, and collaboration between different sectors can also significantly lower the chances or impact of such potential scenarios. We got, I think we've got like the World Economic Forum, sort of globalist governance people, through artificial intelligence, kind of infiltrating the data sphere of societal collapse, or like prepper information here. It's very interesting. So let me know what you think about that, folks. I do think that there's a important point to be considered here, which is when it comes to preparing for the collapse of society, and this is not something that has been lost on us for any amount of time, but it seems like maybe one of the most important skills that you can develop are leadership skills, because the people are gonna be there. You in the movies, or sort of in your imagination, you can see, oh, the mayor, he came together. Oh, the city council, they riled up the townspeople, and they're making it work. But a total lack of trust in government as it is, I don't think is going to actually benefit the people already in power in that way. Because who you going to blame? You're going to blame the people already in power. So it feels like leadership skills, people skills, knowing your neighbors, meeting people. Unfortunately, this seems to be like one of the most helpful things that you could be prepared for, or be prepared with, because it'll be fast acting people who are not just prepared physically, materially. That's very important for your family, but being prepared mentally and being prepared socially seems like it might be maybe the most important thing, at least immediately following some sort of societal collapse. Because as we know, and as we are constantly reminded, as different forces try to collapse society as we know it, it's because they want to build it back up in their sort of image or their ideal. But I think the prepper types who are mentally and spiritually prepared for whatever's going to happen will be able to act quickly and act decisively to rally their neighbors, rally their people to make something happen. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Okay, I popped the call-in links into the chat again. Where are we at? We're about an hour and 20 minutes, I think. Yeah, looks like it. So we might have some time for a couple more call-ins. While we wait for people to do that, if they want to do that, I will announce something. For those who are in the Age of Deceit for focus group, I already gave you guys this fun little detail, but I got a welder. I am now a welding person. Got a welder. My buddy taught me to weld. Spent some time welding. Bought his old welder. I am totally set up, folks. I'm totally set up. Now, I'm not that good at it right now, but I did want to show off. In my welding lessons with my buddy who was teaching me, he was like, what do you want to make? Like, we got to do something for you to do. And we couldn't figure it out. So because we are goofballs, we decided that my first welding project would be a Star Wars-esque laser blaster. And I am here to share my handiwork with you. This is my sort of Han Solo-esque laser blaster. It'll be showing up in the next total failure of a Star Wars film. Very fun, very cool. You could see lots of different skills were used and practiced to make it happen. It weighs about maybe 15 pounds. It's quite heavy. It is not functional, however, so don't worry about that. I did not build a functional laser blaster. But you can see, at the very least, I took different pieces of metal and I welded them together to make a different piece of metal in the shape of a laser blaster. So there you go, folks. I'm doing it. I'm working on it. Are you working on it? Sabrina in the chat says, we need a show and tell jingle. Yeah, here's my show and tell for the day. I know, except Baz doesn't use jingles. I need to get the jingle. The reason why this show, the production of this show moves slowly is because I do not have time to work on this show until Friday morning. So we'll get it slowly. I do need to get my jingle board set up, though. Okay, who do we got? Oh, we got Liberty Before Authority waiting for a call-in. We'll give this another try. Liberty Before Authority tried to call in the other show. He's showing off his goats, showing off his cool stuff. Let's see how this goes. Liberty Before Authority, you are on the air, my friend.
How you doing, brother?
What's going on, buddy? Sounds like we have a better connection this time.
I'm blessed to be out getting food after MMA, and I just not at the house in the middle of nowhere. So how are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing good. You did the MMA, bro. It's been about a full year that I've been thinking, I have got to go sign up for some MMA. There's a couple in town, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm building the skills. I'm getting my big muscles. Why not get into that? It feels like an emptiness that I have not yet jumped into the MMA thing. Is it worth it?
Yeah, brother. The key to that is just getting a good training partner, right? Getting someone who's not going to hurt you, and
Yeah.
you guys are both getting better, and that's definitely the key to it. But
Sounds like
I
it takes some trust, some masculine trust in one another, not to severely hurt each other.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Give me just 1 second. I'm adjusting the volume, so hopefully I can hear you,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
that's not
somebody
it's
was saying that,
suboptimal right now. All right. Either
yeah.
way, I can barely hear you, but that's all good. I got cut out last time, and I was really just trying to plug Nathan Reynolds on the confessionals. He did a 3.5 hour thing, and it's just been incredible. If I would rate like on a 1 to 10 conspiracy depth, bro, he's like a 9. He's way down in there. It's just incredible some of the things that he's talking about. So I
Nathan,
definitely wanted to plug Nathan Reynolds. I
Nathan
don't know if you've heard of him or
Reynolds.
not.
I'm checking my YouTube search history. The second I type in Nathan, it comes up with Nathan Reynolds. So YouTube is certainly letting him be found. Let's see. The Linen Railroad, is that him?
That's him. He's focused a lot on permaculture and homestead stuff now, but every once in a while he just releases one of these interviews that is incredible, and it just drops tactical nukes on our paradigm of what we think this existence
Oh,
really is, or what we've been convinced it has been.
I
But yeah,
love
man,
that.
go ahead.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to see if I can get him up on the screen just in case anybody here wants to see what's going on.
It's
Nathan
episode
Reynolds.
665 with the confessionals for Nathan Reynolds, and
Ah,
yeah, man, it's just it's awesome. So how are you homestead wise, brother? I like what you got going on out there? Because I got the goats, we got cows, we got chickens and ducks and all that stuff. What you got going on in the
yeah,
bunker,
bro.
bro?
Yeah, bro. So I got the emus, got a couple of emus. I've got the bunny population has grown again to sort of an out of control thing. So
That happens
I,
quick.
yeah, it keeps happening. Of course, the idea was always to learn how to process these bunnies and get good at it and do it regularly because otherwise it becomes unmanageable. I have yet to start doing that. I very seriously need, I mean, I could Google it, I could figure it out, but I really want somebody to like hold my hand. Honestly, that's one of the issues.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's you got to get with some homesteaders, within your area, connect with people. Not everyone's a fed, so there's going to be some good ones out there. And I've definitely went to some groups where it's just been incredible. We share knowledge and impart wisdom on it with each other of the lessons that we're learning. And specifically, rabbits seem divinely inspired, in my opinion, because I mean, you literally just hold them by their back legs and you whack them on the back of the head. They just bleed out, and then you make a couple cuts and you pull the skin straight off. I mean, it's super easy. You can do a rabbit in like 2 minutes flat if you know what you're
yeah.
doing. So.
Yeah, I was watching some videos and exactly that thing. It's just kind of like unwrapping a little candy wrapper or something.
Yeah, it's something like that or something. But the our goal, we did the same thing. I've got rabbit tractors at our place. We've got 8 of them. And right now we got chickens in them, but the goal was to have rabbits running around in the yard, have them in tractors, moving them in a healthy manner. And it's been cool, but the end goal was to have rabbits to feed my dogs. I know some people will be like, oh, but for us on the homestead, it's just kind of a part of it. And
Right.
that's more sustainable, because if you have got a farm or anything of that nature, you really should have a Pyrenees. Unless you hate something that barks all night and you just can't stand it, they are incredible protectors. My Pyrenees would bring home a coyote like it was nothing. They're just
Yeah.
incredible animals.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, one of the puppies here turns out to be pretty heavily Pyrenees inspired, so that worked out pretty
Excellent.
good. Yeah. So we got the bunnies, and yes, one of these days. I mean, I really need to prioritize that. I haven't done it yet. Then we got the chickens. What do we got here? We got
You know about the chicken tractor on steroids?
is that no? What? No. What?
So if you just type in chicken tractor on steroids, the permaculture, uh, let's see, what would the name be? permaculture, I can't remember, but if you type in chicken tracker on steroids, this guy comes up and he's got some incredible insight on how you can make, a couple yards of compost in 3 weeks just by moving your chickens and putting things out there for them to work. They're naturally meant to work. And that's how I am about pretty much everything on the farm now. Is the end goal is to get everything working for me instead of a petting zoo. Because with
Yeah,
my
bro.
family, it ends up as a petting zoo. And like one of the real realities of this is you kind of have to you have to take care of the bad ones. You got to put them in the freezer. Some people be like, but you got to put the bad ones in the freezer, otherwise you're passing on those lines, and it only
Yeah.
gets worse, man. It doesn't get better.
Yep.
If you got bad goats, it's a pain in the butt already, much less if you start getting generations of defiant goats. It's not worth it, man. And that's pretty much any animal though out on the farm, in my opinion. If the
No, that's
rooster's giving you a problem, get rid of the rooster, bro. Like at a certain point, why make your life
totally.
so hard? You already got a farm and lots of stuff to do.
That is a great no, that is a great point. I definitely need to start making some progress on that because these bunnies, we got too many bunnies. These chickens are making too many chickens. These I mean, I have another 5 baby chicks out there that I did not even want. They just the eggs
You
were
got
hitting
Broody
the brood.
sitting on
Yeah.
some eggs.
Yep, she went broody. She's got 5 more chicks out there. I'm running out of space, so it's really coming down to the line. I need to start pulling the trigger on some of this cool guy actual homestead stuff, which was the point the whole time. But it's just there's a lot to do, man.
Dude,
There's a lot to do.
there's a list in my head from 1 to 15 already, and I'm constantly thinking about the next thing that I have to do. There's a certain point where, as long as you're doing the things, homesteaders are really bad about taking a second, just sitting with it, and be like, "Yeah, I did
Yeah.
this. I'm doing
Yeah.
good." Just sit in it for a moment, because it's a lot of work, man. It's not that Instagram stuff. I'm up late working. I'm doing this and that just because something with the animals has gone awry, and everybody wants to rush and get their animals first. But if you haven't done any of this, the best thing to do would be to get your infrastructure set up first, so you don't have
Right.
to worry about things getting out of fences and the whole shebang, because it's going to happen anyways. But if you plan it out a little better, that's what permaculture is about. Are you familiar with that at all?
I'm familiar with the concept. I'm definitely not a permaculture expert though.
No, I'm certainly not either, but there's an incredible thing that I would want to pass on, impart to you or anybody else interested, and that's swales. Swales are a water harvesting ditch on contour, right? It evenly collects water instead of being a drain and going down. And what it does is, if you dig swales above, on the highest point, that's the whole permaculture concept, is to collect water up high. Your rainwater from your house up high, collect the water at the highest point. If you dig a swale, you're collecting water, it's feeding your aquifer, and it's ensuring that it's not going to dry up. So your well will be secured by doing swales. But also, you can plant fruit trees. You can plant strawberries, blueberries, goji berries, all this different stuff in just like how my fingers all work together to do what I want it to do. Same with a plant guild. All of these plants work together in a way that helps each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. So, like, they're
Ooh.
deterring bad pests. If you're attracting good insects. You're fighting some diseases. So one would be guilds. Two would be swales. Swales are incredible. They're feeding your aquifer. They're also, you can um, a real tactical thing would be, it's basically a World War II trench, with fruit on one side. So
Right.
you kind of have a fighting position, or at least a lookout position, if need be. And people out on the farm, I don't know, maybe you need to be considering something like that. But
Yeah.
the
I'm
the
going
coolest
down
part
the
is,
swales rabbit hole right now as you're doing this. Maybe I'll share this tab. Keep going.
yeah, it's incredible, the abundance that can be, and also it's drought proofing your property, right? This is a really cool part. It's drought proofing your property, so all your fruit trees are getting water without you having to do as much. I don't know if you know the difference between a food forest and a food forest and an orchard, but an orchard is much more hands-on, and you're more involved. A food forest is more, get all the initial hard work done, sit back and let it do its thing. And if you're going to do anything, get some swales. I got a track hoe, and so I go and do earthworks for people and help them install food forest systems and things like that. But
Sweet.
it's the best way for you to get some food security is to look. The guy I told you about, Permapasture Farms, that's what it is. He's done whole classes on swales. He did a swale workshop, and I took it, and I just came out with some like just energy. Like, yes, there's so much cool stuff for me to do that it needs to be done. So I'm digging swales this fall and going to be planting the fruit trees in the winter because you don't want to be operated on while you're awake, right? You want the trees to be dormant before they're moved. So the best time to plant your trees is in the winter, even though they sell them in the spring because everyone's excited. The best time for success and root growth is in the winter. So I'm just rambling, bro. I'm trying to impart some stuff. Tell me if I'm far off.
You're imparting, man. This is good stuff. You sent me down the swale rabbit hole here. I mean, that's kind of the thing. This is, I think it kind of fits in with a lot of the stuff I've been talking about this episode, which is like, I do need to get a little bit more hooked in and be able to spend a little bit more time with sort of a community of people that know what they're doing. Because, yeah, when you're out on the homestead yourself, it's easy to just get stuck in the endless cycle of chores that need to be done. But stuff like food forests, I mean, now we're talking. I got to get myself a swale. I got to start. This is really the stuff that we're looking for here.
Food security, my brother. That's the first thing everyone should be thinking about is food security. You should have some food and you need water. Everyone needs water. If the power goes out, most people are just going to wait for it to come back on. But be of the mind where you're at least collecting the rainwater off of your house. Come on. Like, you store this water because you may need it one day. And if not, it's a great off-grid way to continue feeding things in a what would you call a passive way.
Right.
So I'm real excited about water collection right now. I'm doing a whole collection system off of my house. It's collecting 300 gallons, and then right below it, I'm doing it on footers. And below it, I'm doing another 300-gallon IBC tote, so I can move the water if I need to. But having that water, man, I can't say enough about it. Like, and doing it right, have it in a black container so nothing grows. You don't want a bunch of stuff growing in it. Cover it. Don't let mosquitoes get in it. Put a netting or something. But it's pretty simple, man. People have been doing what we're doing right now is rediscovering things that people knew thousands of years ago. Swales have been used for so long. And dude, it's something to be excited about if you are anything into food security or anything of that nature, because it just seems like a no-brainer to me. You can either let the water go down the hill and go into a creek and wash off, or you can collect it and use it. And you can use swales to navigate water into ponds, right? So you can turn your swale, make it directed into a ditch, and then feed your ponds. So it's water security. It protects your whatever you got in the pond.
I want a pond. I want a pond.
Do it right though. Don't cheap out on your pond, because mistakes later on are so frustrating.
You seem like quite the wealth of information. Are you putting stuff out anywhere? Do you have a YouTube channel or something?
No, I'm too paranoid and private to be out here. Like, this is the most I would be willing to do, and even this, I was like, should I do a live? I don't know, but like people have said it, the Instagram or whatever, because I got a super, just disgustingly cute family. We got 3 kids and my wife, and we're doing the homeschooling thing, and we're just trying to raise them right. And
nice.
Yesterday we spent the day building the kids' little horse barns and a workshop for my son's Traco and the kids and my daughter's horses. So
you're
just
doing it, man. You're doing the thing, living the dream.
Do the thing, exactly. Do the thing. Or you guys know about linen at all? Anything about linen?
Do you mean the textile?
The fabric? Yes, sir. The fabric. It's even biblical, but linen is an incredible material. It's actually an EMF
made from flax.
It can be made from flax. Yes, it's an EMF shield. It's literally an EMF shield. So people that I'm a hot, sweaty sleeper, and I bought a linen sheet, and I don't wake up at all moving a sheet on and off anymore. I sleep like a baby. And it turns out that one of the side effects of overexposure to EMF is profuse sweating. So
Phew.
maybe something to look into. I don't know. Linen is an incredible material. Half the people who put it on, they just get a good feeling when they put it on. They're just like, wow, this is
Yeah.
nice. It's
I've
very cool. It's
I've
very
never
go
heard
ahead.
the EMF protectant of linen here, but just a quick little search. There is a whole Quora article about it. That's crazy.
Start anywhere. I've like a lot of the stuff. I hate searching anything on the internet now because half of it's just garbage and propaganda to obfuscate the truth. If you want
Right.
to start anywhere, read the book called The Invisible Rainbow. It'll tell you all about EMF and some of the different things that you need to be mindful of and cognizant of moving
Yes.
forward.
I think you recommended that last time. I did order it, so it should be coming here soon. Learn
My
yourself
oh
about the
no,
invisible
I
radio.
recommended Nathan Reynolds' book, Snatched from the Flames.
Snatch. Well, somebody just told me about the invisible rainbow. I have the invisible rainbow coming to my house, so you might just be
Excellent.
confirming somebody else's recommendation. Then that's good.
And the other thing, I guess, I'm just trying to think of the most powerful things I've been, moving through lately. And one of them, Nathan Reynolds brings to the attention generational curses. I don't know if anyone's
Oh yeah.
got Masons in the family, witches, any of that stuff. All of it has repercussions. You can say, "Oh, it's not fair." I'm sorry, it's biblical. We have things that are passed down to us, and that stuff can affect us. So he's got some incredible resources for prayers for breaking generational curses, and I would really point anybody towards that who's dealing with that weird paranormal spiritual stuff. Whether it's sleep paralysis or whatever. It's not everybody, but some
Yeah.
people have had doors opened from their parents or from themselves. And they don't know how to hang once they get it. You need the Lord, you need the King of Kings, and that's and Nathan Reynolds is great at pointing people that way. He's legit, man.
Amen.
He's had 2 attempts on his life in the past year for
Whoa.
saying what he's saying. This
Holy
is a dude.
smokes.
This is a dude who almost died in front of his children. I can't say more good things about the guy. I mean, he's willing to go the distance and say the things that people have bad things happen to and they talk about. And this
Yeah. I'll
guy's
definitely be
legit.
checking him out, man. I just subbed, so I'll see what he's got going on. He sounds like my kind of guy. I love it.
And definitely sub the permapasture farms guys too, because you can go back in their videos. The chicken tractor on steroids. He shows you how to feed your chickens and pigs for free. This is a
Woo.
dude he shows you how to go, to places like like Chipotle right there. You go to Chipotle and you get all their leftover scraps, but don't ever
Right.
tell anyone you're feeding pigs. Say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm using this for compost, and you
Right.
will. You wear a nice collared shirt when you go in there. He lays it all out. He tells you how to do this stuff. Go back in Permapasture Farms videos, and he gives you some incredible insight that got me started on the journey that I'm on now.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, you are a wealth of information. I always loving when you calling in, buddy. You have sent me on. I mean, look, I'm already taking notes on this whole show whenever something pops up, and I've got a long list of notes here. Dude, I'm glad you don't have a YouTube channel or something like that. I totally understand. People have been asking me to do the content on the emus and stuff, and I just get all jittery once I'm like, oh, what if they recognize the mountain in the background? Oh,
Yeah, the paranoia.
what if they track down the fauna in my backyard and they know? So I totally get it. But I'm happy to have you calling in here, buddy, and spreading some of this really important information. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I had a little list put together, but the list isn't here. But I think I hit some good key points. And is there any way you'd be more flexible, either pushing back the show a little bit on a Friday or doing Saturdays? Because I'm only missing your shows because of MMA, and I'd really love to be more in tune. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, I'm pretty loosey goosey when it comes to when the show goes on and stuff. So I'm always open for recommendations. And, the reality of the matter is that it might not even always be on Friday. As we're coming out of the summer here, we're going to have a little bit of schedule changes. So I'm open. I'm open to switching things up a little bit.
And if you're going to start any martial art, you start with jujitsu because most fights go to the ground to learn the ground, and then after you're at the ground, learn some Muay Thai. Learn some kicks, elbows, all that good stuff. We want to be warriors in the garden, not a gardener in the war, right?
Oh my gosh, bro. You're such a wise you're such a wise homesteading man. I'm very impressed.
We need to connect, brother. I'd be happy to help you with anything as far as your homestead design, because that's what I'm doing now is I'm helping people design their properties and move forward on what makes sense. Because like you said, you waste a lot of time doing chores. I'm gonna go home and do about an hour's worth of chores, but guess what? It used to be 2 hours worth of chores. I've honed off minutes so I can have some more time. I'm slowly like fine tuning and making it more efficient. That's what permaculture is. It's about designing your homestead in zones so you're not wasting so much energy and you can enjoy the benefits. A couple years from now, have some awesome fruit trees, right?
Dude, I love it. I love it. We're definitely going to send me an email, or are you on X or anything like that?
No, I'm on Telegram, but I'll send you an email and just my number or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I'd be happy to help you out with whatever you got going on. I just want to impart wisdom and help people get started on their journey because I spent a lot of money and a lot of time wasted just doing what I thought was right, doing what I
Yeah.
thought was right in my own eyes instead of looking at people who had spent years doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Send me an email. Send it to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Let's get connected. Let's make some stuff happen, bro.
Absolutely, man. Peace and blessings, my brother. This was a pleasure.
Dude, thank you so much. Can't wait for you to call in again.
Well, likewise, man. Likewise.
Peace. All right, there you go, folks. Look at that. Some actual homesteading wisdom. That's what we need some more of around here is some actual experience and wisdom. I appreciate that. Liberty before authority. All right, folks. Let's see here. What a guy. What a guy. Learbag. Oh, Learbag's in the chat. What's up, Learbag? I saw Learbag pop in and out of the waiting room a couple times. I don't know if you wanted to jump in again. What do we got? We're at an hour and 47 minutes, so we're coming towards the end here. So if anybody wanted to call in, say hi, see what's going on, you just let me know. Let me know if you need me to put that link back in the chat. Yeah, Learbag, the quote, be warriors in the garden, not gardeners in the war. Whoa, bro. Whoa, bro. Come on now. Come on. Okay. Oh yeah. Learbag says, what's up, buddy? Yeah, sorry, kiddos getting ready for bed. Maybe next time. Maybe next time, Learbag. You take care of those kiddos. Definitely not, because I don't want to follow that guy. He says that's hilarious. All right. Well, I think that's good then. I think we're there for the day. Let me see here. I wanted to take a second, shout out, and thank some producers of the show. If I can get my thing up here. Who did we have here? We had Marita R came in again for 2424. Says blessings for Basil's bunker during a month of personal vivid dreams and sadly teeth problems of my own. My goodness, I'm so sorry about that. Believe it or not, folks, I cannot believe that I'm saying this again. I had another dentist appointment yesterday. This was just for a cleaning. And of course, they can't get in there for a cleaning without talking about a whole this other stuff they want to do to you. So pray for me there. Thank you, producer Marita R. We had producer Andrea F come in, sign up. We have producer Trashman came in for $7.77. Thank you, Trashman. Remember, folks, we're on the value for value model, which means we don't take any money from corporations, commies, or cartels. We're entirely funded and sustained by people who get value from the show. So if you're getting value from the show, you can put some value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to do it. Whatever you have to give, get involved. I mean, for instance, like Liberty Before Authority. That man is a wealth of knowledge, bringing it, throwing it down, telling me I need to get better at chickens and also go take jujitsu. Come on now. But everybody has their own value. God has given you your own gifts, your own value to bring this show. Time, talent, treasure. You can email canarycryradio@gmail.com. if you want to get involved in one way or another. Or if you go to canarycry.support, you'll see a button for Basil's Bunker there. You can support that way as well. Thank you to Susan for your email. Let's see here. Oh, you know what we didn't do was prepper term of the day. Prepper term of the day. Here it is, folks. This is fun doing it at the end. Yo-yo. Y-O-Y-O. Yo-yo is your prepper term of the day, and it means you're on your own. You're on your own. Again, kind of is relevant regarding the theme that came out of today's show, which is, I don't even know if I have a good, I was going to say community, but that's played. It's not community. It's, sometimes you are on your own, but you're probably not better on your own. Yo-yo. Psalm 40 says, pitch the Discord and community. Yeah, a couple things. If you go to canarycry.party, that's a URL. You can just plug it right in. Canarycry.party brings you to our link tree, and you'll see a lot of great stuff there. You can click around on that forever, but you'll see an invite link to the Discord. The Discord server is popping off all the time. It is one of our biggest. It's like one of the biggest parts of the community is the Discord. So if you go to canarycry.party, I'll also just put our Linktree link right here in the chat for anybody who wants to do that. Boop, I'll put it there, put it there, put it there. But there's a button to join the Discord. Go join that Discord. Lots of people just like you doing all the stuff you want to do. These are the people you want to be in contact with. You can also do canarycry.community. Canarycry.community is it's almost like our own little social media thing there. It's great. You should go hang out, get involved. There's also the Telegram channel. Oh, nuts. You think I can, who thinks I can grab the link to the Telegram channel? Here we go. Is he doing it? He's doing it. Let's do it. I know a lot of people are on Telegram. I've had the darndest time getting on the Telegram, but here we go. Here is, oh, apparently I did the wrong link for something. Oh, yep, I did the wrong link. Sorry, everybody. I'm not paying attention. Here's the Telegram channel. Boop, beep, boop. Like that. And then canarycry.party. Oh, yeah, weird. What the heck? That is not right at all. What happened? Weird. Okay, sorry about that. Here's the link tree. Go to the link tree. Everything you could possibly want there. Also, you know, of course, you'll follow us on all the social media if you're not already doing that. That's very important. Thank you, Psalm 40, for keeping me honest and on the ball when it comes to pitching all the things that need to be pitched. Here at the show, I dropped that Nathan Reynolds YouTube link. That was the guy he was telling me about. So apparently you can go check out the Nathan Reynolds thing there. If tell him I sent you. Seems like a cool guy. Maybe we can get him on the show or something. All right. Thank you to everybody who called in. Oh, you know what? Marty K came in. Let me see if I have the Marty K thing. Oh, big ol' shout out. Oh my gosh. I do not have all these things pulled up to quick enough. I don't have them pulled up to quick enough do, you know. You got to do the things, but sometimes your quick enough do is the bit part. Somebody, who was this? Sent in Dawn. Thank you. Do you have a pseudonym that you would like me to use? Okay, I'm going to say Dawn. Thank you very much, Dawn. I got the music file that you sent. It's too long. It didn't let me upload it to the streaming software, so we're going to need to cut that down just a little bit. But Dawn created a dope track that can be used for all sorts of cool stuff in the background. So we'll hopefully get that into the system here soon. Sir Marty K, Night of the Wrong Timeline, sent me a picture of his. Here it is. Let's see if I can upload this real quick. Is that gonna be a problem? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go like this. Sir Marty K produced the show and sent an email. Says this is for Basil's bunker. You know you are dealing with a real man-child when his bunker trophy room looks like this. And what it looks like, I am loading up into the browser. For those who remember a couple episodes ago, Sir Marty K was talking about procuring, I believe, a Knights Templar flag or a Knights of Malta, I forget. But here is Sir Marty K's new acquired Knights of Malta flag. I'm not going to ask any questions. But there it is, hung up in his room. That's very, very good find. That's a good trophy. Thank you. Yours true, Marty K. There you go. Thank you, Marty K. All right, everybody. We did it. Just a heads up. Let's see. Cabin Man. Cabin Man is maybe our one and only subscriber over on Rumble. So thank you for that. It says, is this gentleman the one that called in a week with the property in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, or near Gettysburg? I wish to contact him if possible. Thank you. Oh, that's a good question, Cabin Man. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But maybe when he reaches out, we can find out. All right, everybody. There you go. We did it. We made it to the end of the show. And you know what that means. It's time to feed the ducks. Go. There it is. After all this, you just need to take a little walk. Take a little walk down by the water. Perhaps down by your swale or your new pond that you have, thanks to Liberty Before Authority. And you gotta just take some of that old stale bread and you just throw it out there for the ducks. Because the ducks, they're there to help you. Ducks are God's little soldiers. Right? Go do that. That's what matters the most. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words. Thank you for helping me survive. Thank you for helping each other survive. You know, when society collapses, it's going to be a bunch of Basil's bunkaroos who are there ready to take control, the leadership skills, the know-how to make sure that society can rebuild. All right. Just poking around, making sure I didn't miss anything. I'm sure I did miss something. That's that. Go out there. Take another step. Take one step. The weekend. It's the weekend. Learn how to weld. Get some chickens. Learn how to process some bunnies. Night of the Hungry Panda says, Basil, this is my wife's favorite part of the show. Forget everything else. Thank you. It's all of our favorite part, feeding the ducks. All right, everybody. See you next Friday on Basil's Bunker. Bunk it up, bunk it up.